on something more that will also give us hands-on experience. Emmanuel Peter, you can mute your mic, please. You are welcome to the class. So I wanted us to focus more on some other areas or tutorial that will give us more hints on this Flexbox so that we'll see also how it works. So she has said her own part that she is not yet acquainted with the Flexbox layout. Some other person can still say something more or something different. So I want us to say something so that I can understand the level we are and how we advance higher. So please unmute your mic and speak. You have the floor. Gabriel Akerele, can you unmute your mic to speak? I want to ask you something, if you can hear me.
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you.
Very good. Did you follow till the end of last class on Flexbox?
Yeah, I was in last class, but my device was drained, so it went off.
Okay. Still not a bad one. Emmanuel Peter, how about you? I know Chewy's would have been here. Maybe he will still join. Mark Victor, maybe he will still join. But then, and others, I will still encourage you guys, those who are here, and stay to the end. And you will appreciate the fact that you are part of this class. Okay. So, as I already said, when Sochima talked about her not yet being acquainted with Flexbox, I said we shall talk or focus today on multimedia tags. Multimedia tags. We shall be working with images, and those images, we shall display them as flex so that we shall understand more about how Flexbox work. One other thing I must repeat at this point is that Flexbox is a CSS layer that allows us to arrange our items or elements to make our website responsive and to make it dynamic, adaptable to devices such as mobile, tablets, and desktop or Windows, whatever this screen size you are using. With Flexbox, your elements on the web page will not that be too static. It becomes more dynamic than static. Okay. Then it is a one-dimensional CSS layout. That's one of the things I mentioned in the previous class. It is one-dimensional. Unlike grid layout in CSS is a two-dimensional layout. Grid in CSS works on both rows and columns at the same time, but Flexbox works only on rows. So that when on one, what's it called? One side at a time. It does not work on two sides at the same time. Flexbox works on either row at a time or column at a time, but grid layout works both rows and columns at the same time. That having been said, I will share my screen now so that we will delve into the business of the day to see how we can always insert elements or images, videos on our web page. Some of us, in the previous assignment I gave to you, some of you did it and did it very well. Once more, I must say, Sochima, you did well in that first one about inserting video, showing your portfolio website, as well as your picture. and then a link. Some other persons here who did it maybe did do it very well in adding or following all the instructions given for that assignment. Perhaps after this very tutorial, you understand better how to perform or add elements such as videos and images. Setting your images as background, as well as making use of CSS property known as backdrop filter. Backdrop filter. So with the things I already said now, the content guide for today's class, I will share that at the end of this class, is that we shall be focusing on multimedia tags. That is one. Two is that we shall be inserting video on our web page. Secondly, we shall be inserting image. Thirdly, we shall be using another image as background. Background. You refer to it as background image. And finally, we shall be making use of backdrop filter to show what or how we can make items or elements appear on top of an image while looking blurred, transparent, or reducing the opacity. So enough of the long talks. Let me share my screen so that we'll dive into the work of today. In the next 1 hour, this class should be ending so that we'll now see what we have and what we can do. All right. Okay, Boba Peter, you're welcome. It seems Emmanuel is out, but I know he will soon be back. Sorry for the bit delay. Let me now share my screen so that you see what I'm talking about. So, as I said, today we shall be focusing on multimedia tags. And as you can see on my own page, I already saved these files as multimedia tutorial.html and multimedia tutorial.css. So I would also want you to do the same. I would want you to do the same. Now, on the left part of my screen, yes, you're seeing it here, you would come to realize now I have another folder added here. For your own, you might be having just 1, 2, 3 folders. That is CSS, HTML, and image without having JavaScript and video. I have no file yet inside this JavaScript. I have no file yet. Here, I have just one video that I would want to embed on our web page. So I would like you to pay attention as we code along. So I expect you to be working together with me. If you don't understand, endeavor to call my attention, please. It's very much necessary. As I said, today's tutorial is consequent upon our last tutorial on Flexbox layout. So in the last class, look at the file we had here, Flexbox, where I use these names for the navigation bar. Peter, Emma, Sochima, Eugene, Victor. These persons were really present for the last class. Okay, so but normally I wouldn't want to use that. But we didn't change it until the end of the class. So we are building our class today upon last class. Let's go into the file, the multimedia tutorial file, HTML file.
Yes.
Okay, so to begin with the HTML basic structure, you already know the shortcut we use to get that. Shift +1, that gets the exclamation mark, and you press enter or tab. Now, I will rename this document to multimedia lesson. Multimedia lesson. All right. Let us link the external file, the external CSS file, with the usual tag for it. Link, then locate it. Since it is not in the same file directory, I'm using double dots, then slash. So I go into this CSS folder and select multimedia tutorial.css. Now it has been linked. I will now go ahead and inside this body, I have 3 major tags I would like to use. I have 3 major files. One is the header, 2 is the main, and finally the footer. All right. So while I have it this way, I would like to go into the header to write what would be the content for this header. Now, it's always good to use these semantic tags, which is nav. So while I use nav tag, I press enter. So while I press enter, I'm using the anchor tags to link some other files I already created. So when I press A, it shows me this hypertext reference, which you already know what it means. And I want to locate a file in the same file directory, not out of the file directory. So I would like to load this very one that I'm working on, which is the multimedia tutorial. So let it be the first one, so that if the user clicks on it, it gets the person into the same file location, into the same page. If the person clicks on this link, he or she will still remain in the same page. So inside it, I'm going to use the image tag, the img. So I want to use this to load folder, I mean the logo. I want to load the logo. Alternative tag, if this image does not show, the alternatively for SEO, you already know what SEO means, search engine optimization. For that to work perfectly and with ease, you always need, it is pertinent to put something inside this alt, this attribute alternative. So I'm going to write logo here. Without loading the image, I want to open this with a live server in our usual way. So open with live server. I'm not see the live server. Okay. Okay, it has opened now. I would like to copy this. You could see the alternative write-up I wrote there is showing. So I would like to copy this into the my choice of browser that I always like to use. I prefer using that browser, which is Chrome. So let me open the browser, Google Chrome. I have a lot of work here. So many open tags. All right. In our usual way, it is necessary for us to break the screen. Breaking the screen, I do not mean literally breaking your screen, guys. So by now, I expect you know what I mean when I say you should break your screen. So I will also minimize this so that both of them will be on the same page. Now, let me load the logo I want to use for this to appear. So I get um, okay, I get this folder image and then logo. You now see the logo has appeared and they tend to appear as large as it is until they are reduced. Images, they appear as big as they are until they are reduced. So I would like to use inline CSS to write. What I would like to write here is width to reduce it to 150 or 100 pixels. You could now see that this image has reduced and is in this size. What this implies is that wherever you are, once you click on this logo, it loads you back to this same page. It loads you back to the home page. So that's why I made reference to this multimedia tutorial.html. Now let's get to the next thing by saying UL to create an ordered list. Inside the UL is nested LI. Within the LI is anchor tag. I would like to use this anchor tag to locate the flexbox file we worked on in the previous class. So flexbox, what will the user be seeing there? Flexbox layout. Now I do that again. Since I want to get that into 3 more places, I would like to get it into 3 more places by saying, let me show you another shortcut I've not taught you before now. So when I press LI, asterisk, I want it into 3 more places. I will say I'm multiplying it times 3. So once I do this and press enter, you see what happens? It generates LI into 3 more places for me. So learn that shortcut, and what you need again is just right here, anchor tag. And then within the anchor tag, I want to make reference to the home, to this home.html. Home. What the user will be seeing there is home. Even though That home has no content for now. I should have changed it to position since we'll be working on position after this. Now, apart from home, I also have index.html. So I will make reference to that index by using this index. And within that index, we talked about basic structure. So remember what we did in the previous class. So I'm linking it so that when you click on these tags, for instance, look at it now. If I click on it, it should open this tutorial we had in the previous class, talking about basic structure of the HTML file. All right. So this home will not load any page for me. It is blank. It has nothing inside it. Flexbox, we opened the last class we had. You could see it here. So this is how you can connect your tags using anchor tags, connecting multiple pages. Finally, I would like to write in this LI here, anchor tag, get it with this. And what I want to get is this grid. So grid is the class we are going to have after today's class. That will be on Friday, please God. So what the user should be seeing here is grid layout. Grid layout. But today we are talking about how to work with images and videos, which are the multimedia tags. Now, it's good you always comment. Learn commenting and you'll be happy with it. So for this place, I want to comment here saying that header begins here. So remember, I already taught you before, and the shortcut for commenting is Control// if you're working with Windows, and if you're working with Mac, it is you get the shortcut if you're working on MacBook. Okay, I'll reference that later. So the same code, commands/. All right. Now, done with header, let us go into the main. Oh, Papa Peter, you seem to have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go on.
And linking this external CSS, like the one we did previous. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you now, but I didn't get your question.
I said the tag, like you use anchor tag, but I click this on my own and it's not showing the previous, like this flexbox layout.
One thing is, are you sure you reference it very well? So Chima, can you hear me? Are you encountering any challenge with that?
I'm still trying to catch up with like.
No problem, then I will wait. Now, Peter, can you share your screen so that I see what you have?
Yes, sir.
All right, so share your screen so that we see, and I know where to come in.
I send the request, sir.
I have given you access to share your screen. Um,
Can you see my screen now?
Not yet.
Can you see my screen, sir?
Yeah, it's still trying to load. Very good. Excellent.
Okay, this is what I mean. Like I want to link this
Welcome
the
back.
previous
You said you want to link what?
the previous class, like our last lesson,
Is
to
it
this
in this
anchor tag.
file directory? Is it in this file directory? Did you create a new project for today?
I created a new project, sir.
Can you press Control Shift E on your screen now if you're working with Windows? Control Shift E. Okay, very good. You know why? I just wanted to see this left pane, this side.
Okay. So this is the folder I created today.
You created a multimedia folder or
Yes,
file.
sir.
Okay, you created a multimedia
Folder.
folder. Having this,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
no problem. Now, what you're going to do, it is not in the same file directory. Can you hear me now? So you're going
Yes,
to
sir.
use double dot instead of single dot as I did. So type in that column, double dot slash. Now click on the assignment folder. If what you want to make the reference to is in this assignment folder, you could see it. If that's the one you want to locate, you can locate it. If it is not in it, but what about the flex box?
Yeah, I'm looking for the flex box because the flex box is here. This is the
No
one I'm
problem.
trying to link.
It's okay, no
This is
wahala.
the
Now
one I'm looking
backspace, backspace. Let me show you how you can reference it as well. Backspace that assignment, backspace.
for. Okay, sir.
I did not mean everything. Can you press Ctrl Z now? Can you press Ctrl Z on your screen? Ctrl Z again. Again. Good. At this point, it's okay. Put your slash, put your forward slash. Double dot again. Forward slash.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. This is the one I'm looking for.
I understand. So that's what you do when you want to go out of a folder. So if you still not see it, what you want to do, you still press double dot again and then forward slash. So it gets you out of that folder into the bigger folder. So you can do that now to get other files that you created previously. All right, you can stop sharing. Gabriel Akerele, what's up? Are you
I'm here.
following?
Oh.
Okay,
I'm following. I'm following.
all right. So Chima, have you catch up with us? Paul, what's the situation report from your end? Paul, are you still with us or you've gone off?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Sochi, what's the situation report from your end?
Yes, sir. I'm following. But
Okay,
I don't this home and basic structure and grid layout. We're not supposed to have it. Kind of
which one?
the apart from the flex box layout, like the home and basic structure and grid layout.
Did you see what I did? Or maybe you
Kind
did,
of.
if you didn't get it properly, let me. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
All right. So you see where I am now.
Yes.
So what's your question now from this point? You must not have only these items on your own list. For instance,
Okay.
what was his name now? Ovaba Peter, he had so many files he can even make reference to within this particular tutorial we're making today. He can also
Yes.
link that assignment he submitted so that when he clicks on it, it opens that assignment. That is you now being in one page, opening multiple pages. I hope you are following.
Oh,
So in one page, open
yes.
multiple pages. And supposing you don't want to open it in that same page, I already showed you guys before now how to add targets to this anchor tag. So you add target after the name. So attribute you add targets as this. It no longer opens in that same page, but it opens in another page. Let me do that in this very first one. So I'm adding targets here, and that target is blank. So blank means that it is not going to open this file for me in the same page I'm working on, rather in another page. For instance, look at this one now. It's opened here.
Okay.
I'm no longer working on that same page. So because I use that target blank, but this is the work we are. This is what we are working on. So let me just close this one now. I don't need it. All right. The next thing I would like us to do now is to add, okay, to go into the main. I already commented the main session begins here. And inside the main, I will also comment the very first page we normally see, the very first session we normally see on our page. I've told you before now, is known as the hero section. So I'm referencing it here saying that hero section begins here. Hero section begins here. So I would want to call a section and at the same time give it a class name by saying section dot hero. Section dot hero. Once I press enter, because I'm working with VS Code, it gives me this class name hero. And inside it, I would want to use the video tag. Now, video tag, we have two ways of making reference to this video tag. Coming with directly inside the tag, attribute of source. I wouldn't want to make use of this one. I would like to get inside this video tag and use the source tag. Now, this source tag has the attribute src. And in the src, I would add locating the video by using the double dot as usual to get video. And since I have this only video here, I'll just select it. The image, the video is already showing here on the page. But you see, it is not playing. It is just static. That's the need for adding these attributes inside the video tag. Attribute of autoplay, one. Another one is muted. Is now is talking. But I don't want it to be talking while I'm talking. I've muted it, so it's no longer talking. So I autoplayed it, I muted it. Another attribute I would like to add is loop, so that it repeats after it finished playing. So it is looping. And another one that maybe you've not used before, I would like to add is plays in line. So now the video plays, it plays continually. And when it finishes playing, it begins again because it is looped. You're no longer hearing the sound because it is muted. That having been said, I'd like us to also add this right up if it does, so that if the image does not show, the video does not show, it comes up like this saying your browser does not support this tag. Okay. All right. Now, that having been said, I would like us to add the next content, a write-up that would appear on top of this image. That would be, let me give it a class name, content. So it's a div that I want to give a class name, content or hero content, as the case may be. So in case you might have content in other places. So let me reference it as hero content. Now, inside this div, I would want to appear H1, using H1 to say, welcome to Edenite's multimedia tutorial. So whatever you want to appear, it appears, but now it is appearing under the beneath the image. It is appearing beneath the image. I'm going to make use of position property of CSS to make this write-up appear on top of this image. So even though we are not going to discuss fully position today, at least you would know about it and see how it works to an extent. And maybe subsequent video that is already on the playlist, you can also watch it. It's already posted on the YouTube page about positioning. You can also learn and see what more you can achieve with it. So after using H1, the next one I would like us to add here is using P tag. So saying to the audience, learn how to use image and video tags. Okay, that is done. Now, I want us to go into the next section immediately. This is the first section. Of course, the website is usually section by section. So after dealing with the first section, the hero section, the next section could be about us, about your product. It could be contacting the company, how to contact the company. It could also be about our staff. Whatever thing you want as the next session, that is what you are putting up there. But for this particular session, I want the focus to be on loading image as background. Loading image as background. All right. So let this be a section with a class name BG or background image. Should I just let's use that BG hyphen BG image hyphen. So in that case, what do we want the viewer to see inside this tag? I just want to insert using H1. Simply to say using image or images as background. Whether background of a section, background of a button, background of an article or whatever, just know background of an element, because simple button could take image as its background. All right, that section is over. You can add more into this section to develop it the way you want, but the focus is to make sure you learn how to insert image as background. Now, in another section, I'm commenting to say inserting images into the web page. Inserting images into the web page or website, whichever one you want to write. Now, if I'm too fast that you are left behind, please let me know so that we carry you along, even though we are trying to meet up with the time, so that we can also have time to ask questions and answers. Okay. Now, in this, I want us to create section that says, okay, with a class name, inserted image. Of course, you would remember I don't put space while giving multiple class name, while naming two or more class name. So I don't give space. If not, you end up having two classes. And you could see I'm using the shortcut section.inserted images. So when I press enter, I'll go inside that section to load with H1. The H1 has the content image gallery. Image gallery. Meanwhile, I would like to use inline styling here to style this particular one, to add just to add little margin to it, margin top of about 15 or 20 pixels, whichever one you want. And the next thing would be to also align the text on the center. So text align should be centered. All right. Looking at the website, you could see this image gallery is already on the center. Now, the next thing I want us to do is to create a div. To create a div. If you want to add background to it, you already learned how to do that. Style this the much you can, and if possible, share with me your challenges, maybe in trying to style it, and your progress. I would appreciate your creativity. I don't limit your potential or your creativity. I expect you to do more than what you are doing now. So let's create a div with a class name, image gallery. So image gallery. Now, inside these divs, we are going to use multimedia tags, and such as figure. It's very much important you learn this semantic tag, figure. So figure is inside it, we load image, and it comes with another tag known as fig caption. So while we load image using the img tag, we load image. Maybe the first image I would like to load, due to the images I have here, I don't know yet, but I'll just choose any image. Supposing I want to choose this first one as cute dog, the image appears. A very cute dog, you're seeing it. So it appears, and it appears as big as it is until it is reduced. There could be images that ordinarily will be larger than this one, and they will make your web page to be overflowing on the left and right axis or horizontal axis. But when you resize it, it will not be overflowing anymore. Okay, so let's minimize the page as it is and then load other images. Remember, I told you beneath the image is another tag known as fig caption. Fig caption. Okay. So the fig caption, as the name implies, is the caption we are gonna give to this image. Now, you looking at this image, you could say this is a lion dog, a sitting dog, a cute dog, whatever caption you want to give to it. Okay, cute lion puppy. Of course, remember in the alternative attributes you could add here, whatever thing you want to add, cute dog or puppy. All right, that is taken. Let's copy this into maybe 4 or 5 or 6 more places. Remember, I'm copying only the figure and it is inside this div. So I'm copying it. I will still edit it to take another image, whatever it is. I don't know how many it is here, but with time we'll count and see. So I would like to change this one to another image that might be inside this folder. So this one is cute puppy dog wallpaper. You could see it's cute puppy dog. I have so many cute puppy dogs. So cute puppy wallpaper. That's a caption I gave to it. Then we get the next one. So to rename this third one, let me get the image here. This one is Debian Linux wallpaper. So this is what I have here. So its name is Debian Linux wallpaper. Uvova Peter, it seems you want to say something. Emmanuel, you are welcome to the class.
Thank you very much.
Debian Linux. So I haven't inserted this third one. Now let's change also the image for the fourth one. This image is, let me use funny dog. This is the image of the funny dog. So the caption will also change. I have not been changing the alternative attributes. You can do that for yourself. So this one is funny dog wallpaper. Funny dog wallpaper. Then let's get the next one. The next one could be whatever it is. Okay, this one is giraffe. Okay, a very tall giraffe. You could see it. Now let me open this image so you see what I'm telling you about. Images tend to appear as big as they are. You could now see this Debian is larger than other ones. This Debian is larger than this, and all other ones, they seem to be of the same size. So images, they appear as big as they are until they are reduced or increased. Please, you can mute your mic if you are the one whose mic is distracting. Sachima, you're welcome back. It seems the network is still messing around with you. Okay, so this is a very tall brown giraffe. So we're captioning it brown, tall giraffe. Okay. And for this very picture, we also change it to another image I might have here. Okay, this one is happy dog. And then the final one, let me also change it to happy dog. The caption happy dog. And finally, you can see the happy dog, very happy. Seems like I have an avalanche of dog pictures. This one is teddy bear. Okay, a Valentine teddy bear. Let's see how that one looks like. It will appear now. This is it, Valentine teddy bear. So let me also caption it, Valentine teddy bear. All right, gentlemen and ladies. What I say, men? Teddy bear. Okay. I think that's all for this very section. Let's get to the next section, which is focused on backdrop filter. And that will be the end before we add something into the footer. Okay, so this next section shall be talking about backdrop filter effects. You will know what this is all about. So section dot, let me name it backdrop. Section dot backdrop. Inside it, I will create a div with a class name, backdrop hyphen filter. Backdrop filter. So inside it, I want to load with H1 to say, here is an example of how to use backdrop filter effects. And beneath it is using p tag to say what it does. So we use it, I want to load with a tag known as code. Code is a tag. So it makes the write-up inside it to appear like code, as the name implies. We use backdrop filter to create a blurry, transparent, opaque, at least you should know what opaque is, and bright effects on images or videos. All right, that's all. So going into the footer, all I want to add into the footer is to use strong tag. Strong, of course, is a tag we learned in the previous very first class or second class that helps us to make elements bold. So inside it, I would write at Gabitech 2025. All rights reserved. All right. That's all for the CSS part. Else, would like to comment here saying that footer section begins here. You can as well build your footer to be bigger than this. There are more contents that could be added inside footer. Footer section begins here. All right. So our web page is now looking static and looking this way. Let's now use the CSS to style it a bit, giving it what we want. All right. So remember, I already created the CSS file. First thing I would like to do inside it is to use the universal selector to remove the default margins and paddings. So margin here should be 0, padding should be also 0, and I would like to add transition effects. So this transition, so that this item, the change will be happening with ease. And let me make it happen in 0.3 seconds and with ease in out effect. Apart from that, I would like to remove the list styles on the listing tags, such as li. So I'm making the list style to be none, as well as removing the text decoration. So I'm removing the underline on these anchor tags. So I'm setting it as none, and you will see it happen immediately. So there's no more underline here, and there's no more the bullets that you were seeing there. Okay, that's having been done. Let's go into, I also like to add another thing, which is border box or box sizing to the border box. So box sizing, let me make it border box. It makes items to fit into their layout, into their containers. All right. We don't focus on the video, but let's focus on what we are doing. I mean, not on the video that you're seeing on the screen, so it doesn't distract you. Okay. All right. So let's get from the top to bottom, not as the president's own now, but top to bottom, what we have on our page here. The first thing is header. So the header, we are giving it a height of about 15 VH, that is 15 view height. And before doing that on the header, because while I did it, it seems to have been hidden a bit. So I would like to call some other elements first, calling the header nav. That is the navigation tag inside header. So header nav is displayed as flex. Remember, this video builds on flex box that we did. When I did it, you now see that these items have appeared, it now appeared adjacent to the logo. Adjacent to the logo. Remember that flex box, when you display an item as flex, the effect is seen on the direct children of that element. So to make these other items, this very one, the flex box you are seeing here, the home, basic, structure, and grid layout, to appear side by side, I would need to call the UL, which is the parent element of the LI, to display it as flex. And you will see the effect of doing that. So when I do it, you will now see that this item now appear this way. But there is also another thing I will need to do. When you display item as flex, you would need to align them on the center. That is doing it horizontally. Align item center. You will now see it. It becomes on the same line with the logo. On the center of the logo. On the center of the logo. Meanwhile, I would like to add also gap onto this. So I would like to add gap between this one. So a gap of about, call it 10 pixels, so that there will be space between this and the logo. If you increase it, it is left for you. If you make it 15, not bad. Now, I would like us to also add here to justify content. Justify content, space around or space evenly, whichever one we want to use. So you will now see that the items are spaced this way. Is now justified evenly. Even space here, even space here. But I kind of don't like these items, these list items here, clumsy. I will need to also justify this other one by spacing it around, spacing it. Now, I will do that here inside the header nav UL. You say, already it's on the center. I will give this a flex of 1. When I say flex of 1, I'm making it to take the entire space that is remaining. So it will stretch. Now I'm making this one to take a smaller space. All right, at this point, I would need to justify the content to say, justify content, space around. Even without adding gap, you could see the effect of spacing it around. So this is it, this is it, this is it. All right. Supposing I would want to see space here, I could use, instead of using just space evenly, I would say space around, or space in between, or even add padding to this part, and you see it happen immediately. So maybe margin left could do that. Margin left of about 20 pixels. Would that be too much? Okay, that's not showing. Margin left. Okay, it's on the UL, not on the nav now. So let me do that here. All right, the logo is no longer on the extreme. You could see it's come out a bit. That's kind of thing I want. We also need like margin top. So there should be a margin top on this header. So let's get back to the header and finish up what we are doing on the header. So let the header have padding of about padding of about 10 pixels top and bottom, and 15 pixels left and right. Let it also have a background color. I would like this background color to also be on the footer. So background color to be beige or bisque, whichever one, as long as the item is showing. All right. Maybe it is too much. I need sort of milky yellowish. Uh, all right. So I want it to be in the ash code so that I can reference it on the footer. So I want to call the footer immediately, even though I will still do that at the end, but let me call it now and give it that background color. All right. So it is now showing at the base, but it will not be much obvious until I add other effects for the footer. I would like to give it align text to the center. So I'm taking it up and taking you to and fro. Text align center. Another thing I would like to add is giving a height to the footer, height of about 20 VH. That looks big. Let me make it 10. All right. And then padding top. So the text will not just be there. Padding. Just padding top I need. So the padding top should be about 20 pixels. You now see the effect. The text now seems to be on the center, no longer touching the edges. We might also need to add margin top to this footer. Margin top of about 10 pixels. All right, gentlemen, let's go back to the header. I've just done that on the footer. Let's continue with the header. Inside the header, I'm done adding background color to the header, padding. Another thing I would like to add to the header itself is margin bottom. All right, so margin bottom of about 15 pixels. Sometimes headers do have border bottom. So the border bottom of about 3 pixels, solid, and whatever color you want to give to it, it appears that way. Supposing I want to make reference to the thicker part of this color you are seeing here, I would use it. While I called it, I will get the darker shade of that color. Okay, it still appears to me that maybe 3 pixels is not much. Let me use 5 pixels. Okay, that is it for now. Let's get on with other parts of the section. Getting the hero section immediately. We are done with the header. Let's finish up with the hero section. Before the hero section, let me call the body and give it a font family that I would want it to take. Font family. That will also be working on the entire body. So this font family, Georgia, does it really look cute? Okay, it looks giving. And then let me give it a line height that will also run through the entire work, about 1.8. Let's see how it goes. I think it's giving. All right, that reflects on the entire body. Before we go into the hero section proper, I also want to add font weight to this UL. Font weight of, make it bold or 700. This is why you see the effect of the font weight I added. So these items are non-bold in themselves. And with Flex, it is no longer static, it is dynamic. That is one thing Flexbox does. All right. We have barely 30 minutes to the end of the class, but no worries. As long as you all are still attentive and very much alert, we'll get on with it. So let me call the hero. Ensure you get it with the proper name. You reference it as hero. You display it as Flex. That's what I want to do. Display the hero session as Flex. Give it a height of about 100 VH. Then align item center, justify content center. With this, you bring the entire item to the center. Everything within the hero section, you bring it to the center. Now, I would like to position, using the position attributes or position property, which I told you before now, though we've not done it, but I would like to position this relative. Now, having done that, you are no longer seeing the write-up I had on this page. The write-up is now a bit hidden inside the image, but I would want this write-up to come on top of the image using a backdrop filter effect. So let's get at it immediately. So let me get the video first. So .hero video. What I want to do with it, .hero video, I will position this video as absolute, positioning it as absolute instead of relative. That works, but then I would like to add other properties by saying top 50%. What is happening? Top 50%, left 50% as well. You now see this image or the video already moved 50% away from the top, 50% away from the left, and it is here. Now I need to add another thing to bring it to the center of the page. What is that I would do? I would need to add a transform effect. So transform, translate, and the translate is both on X and Y axis. So on Y axis, I'm reducing it away 50%, and also on X axis, away 50%. With that, the video comes to the center of the page. Simple. It comes to the center of the page. Meanwhile, I still want to stretch this video a bit. I would still like to stretch this video a bit, stretching it in size so that it's not as small as it is. So you see that images as well as videos could be increased or reduced in size. Now, what will I do to say mean height, mean width, mean height to be about 80%, mean width as well, 80% too. Now let's see how it appears on the 80%. I think it's bigger than it was. Yeah, it's bigger. Maybe I will increase it to 85% and you see it all the more. So let me increase the width to 85%. You see it has adjusted. Now I want to add border radius to it. You could see that border radius can also be added to images and videos as well. So Chima did it in the video she sent on her portfolio page. And I love your efforts at that. Now we're no longer seeing the text. So I would want us to bring the text today to come to the top of the video. There is this attributes that comes with positioning known as Z index. So Z index, every element, every static element on the web page has a Z index of 1, it can be increased or reduced. So when you increase the Z index, it makes an element come on top of another. When you reduce it, it makes an element go beneath another one. So I'm giving it -1. You now see that this item, this write-up is not on top of the video. It's not on top of the video. You're seeing it. Or maybe it is not looking clear to you. We are going to use backdrop filter effect on it and add color to this part of the write-up or the box so that you will see it clearer. Another I would like to add here is object fit so that it does not stretch in a way that does not fit appropriately. So object fit can be added on video as well as on images. All right. So let's get the hero content. Hero content. How do we make reference to it? Hero content. It seems someone wants to speak. Peter, it seems you want to say something.
No, sir. No, sir.
All right. Okay. Thank you for your attention. We are gradually taking it to another level. Okay, I want to get this hero content. Let's add padding to it. The padding may not even be seen until you add maybe background color to it. So let the padding be about 5 rem top and bottom, and maybe 2 or 2.5 rem, 2.5 rem left and right. It is not obvious, as I said, until you add background color to it. You will now see the region or the geographical area of this work. So I use this so that you see it. This is the background or the area where this is covering. It's a kind of covering too much for me. Let me increase it to or reduce it to 3.5 top and bottom, and then make this 1.5 left and right. All right. I do not need this color. It is too much. Let me use gray color. A reduced opaque of maybe, yeah, this gray color is good. But then here comes the effect, the backdrop filter effect. Let's give it color, making the color to be white. And then let's add the backdrop filter effect. Backdrop filter. I kind of didn't get this right. The color should be white, and I didn't complete it. All right. So backdrop filter effect. Let's make it blurry so it becomes blur. But then the blur has to take some units, about 12 pixels. You now see, wherever it appears, you're no longer seeing the video that is playing clearly. It makes the video blurry. All right. Let's still align the text to be on the center. All right, guys. At least we are done a bit to a large extent with this hero section. Let's go to the point of inserting or using image as background. Using image as background. Now let's get that class that is BG image. If you are confused on making reference to it, go back to your HTML structure and you see where you made reference to inserting this image. I want us to get this particular one, loading image as background. So BG image, that's the way I'm calling it. Making sure I add dots first. BG image. Let's give that section, entire section, a height of about 50 or 60 VH. Then let's add background color. Not background color now, but either background or background image. So this of learning how to insert background as set image as background. So you can either use this background or use background image. For this part, we are going to use background. In the next one, we're going to use background image. The most important thing you need to do is to add URL. It's very much necessary. This URL At the beginning of this course, you already learned what it means, which is uniform resource locator. Okay, you are locating the image or video or whatever you want to bring up to this place. So I'm looking for image. Let's get the image I would like to use here. Maybe this teddy bear wallpaper. I don't think I've used it before. Or let me use this Winnie Pooh and Friends wallpaper. Let's see what it looks like. Winnie Pooh. This is it. Now, this very stuff, this very image is not centered here. So we have effects we add to it by saying background position, background size. We can also write this in one line. Background position, we say center. Watch what happens. This image comes to the center. Its image is centered. Then we also say background size. We say cover. You can also say contain, whichever one you want to use. You could use either contain or cover. So contain has its own effect, cover has its own effect. Try it out and know what works out best for you. But when you use contain, make sure, okay, see, I use cover here and see what happens. So it is covered within the space where it is meant to appear. No part of the image is left out. Sometimes, if the image you are using is a small image, and it doesn't cover the entire place, it will end up repeating. You will need to say background repeat, no repeat. Background repeat, no repeat. So it doesn't repeat in several places. This is not background repeat. Background repeat. And you say no repeat. All right, guys, we are gradually wrapping it up. I would like us to add, make the color of this session to be white and add a text shadow on this image here. All right. If we display this as flex, this section as flex, and align item center, justify content center, you will see that this image, this using image, this write-up, not this image now, this write-up will come to the center of the background image. So that's what we will do now. Display flex, align items center, justify content center. Simple as it is. Now we would need to add text shadow to the text. So text shadow goes this way. So it's a simple effect you can add to your text, making it look more appealing. Let's use, for instance, here 4 pixel, 6 pixel, and 8 pixel. Using maybe black color instead of this white color you're seeing here. Ash 00000 FF. Or maybe this black color is not obvious. Let me just make it red. So it is more obvious now. You are seeing the shadow being red as well as the text being white. All right, let's get to the next section. The next section is talking about inserting images in the web page. So we are getting this image gallery. Image, not writing it correctly, image hyphen gallery. So for this part, remember, if you are confused what we are getting, you go back to the HTML part. So I want us to get this div. that div, that box that has all these images wrapped in them or in it. Okay, I want us to display that box as flex, and you watch what happens. The images ordinarily will appear side by side. You see it. And it's not good your website is looking like this and you are scrolling on the horizontal axis instead of scrolling vertical axis. So you kind of don't like it this way. Okay, so let's get at it to do the needful. So when you display it as flex, automatically it aligns in rows. It aligns in rows. Before focusing on that particular image gallery that we've displayed as flex, I would want us to get the image gallery figure, the figure tag that is inside this image gallery. Okay, so in this case, I want to align the text here to be on the center. And the next one I would like to do is to get the IMG, which is image gallery IMG. Image gallery IMG. So the gallery, the IMG, the image is inside this image gallery. What I want to do with it, to add a width of about, let's say, 250 pixels, as well as, you now see how small they appear. This is 250 pixels, as well as height of the same dimension, 250 pixels as well. Now, there is this need to add no long object fit, make it cover, so that it doesn't stretch in a way that is obsolete. And then I would like to add border radius. Remember, we displayed this as flex. Let's maybe give it gap of about 10 pixels, and you see the gap in between the images. And I was saying we need to add border radius on this. Supposing the border radius is about 10 pixels, you could see how it appears. The images are curved. The images are curved. Now there is this need to add flex wrap to this image gallery. Image gallery, we will say flex wrap. We used it in the previous tutorial. That's why I said this is based on the previous tutorial, so we understand more the dynamics of flex. So watch what happens now. When I say flex wrap, when this screen size gets smaller, the remaining images now comes down. It no longer makes our web page overflow. So I would want to bring this to the center by saying align items center and justify content to be either spaced around or spaced evenly. Align items center, justify content, maybe say space evenly or space around, whichever one. So this is how space around works. It's a kind of looking good. However, if you want this image to have a round shape, all you need to do is to make this border radius to be 50% and no longer 10 pixels. Once you have equal height and width, all you need to do is to say border radius 50%, and you see yourself arriving at a shape like this. Wow, this is awesome. This is wonderful. And you see the fig caption positioning directly under each of the images. Each of the images taking its own caption. This is a funny dog. This is a happy dog. This is a brown tall giraffe. This is a Debian Linux wallpaper, and so on. So I wonder what image you are having on your own web page right now. But I know it is appealing to you. It is your choice. Okay. So gradually wrapping this up. Let me get the image caption Maybe I'll get it by saying image gallery fig caption. I want to maybe italicize it, fig caption, to say font style, italic. You could also use oblique and say what it does. This is oblique, and I would like to bolden it by adding font weight, 600. That's looking good. If you want to add color to it, you could do that. So maybe let there be no color riot. There is a tint of red on this web page. So let me make it just red and see how it looks. All right. So if you still want to add background to it, you can do that. Is left for you. Maybe you want to make the background to be white. Background color becomes as FFF. It's your choice. Your choice. But the page, the section itself is already white in color. So it's not that obvious. Maybe we decide to get the section holding it, which is this image gallery, and you decide to say background color, give it any color here that looks demure. You now see the effects of the white you added. Wow, that's good. And if you decide to add maybe padding to this, top and bottom should be 10 pixels and maybe 5 pixels left and right. It's your choice. I did this so you see space here. And the fig caption, you can as well give it a border radius. It's all the way you want to style it. A border radius of 20 pixels would be too much, would also be good. All right, let's come out of styling it. You can give a lot of styling to make your own website appealing as you want it. Thank you guys for paying attention even to this point. Now let us get to this last part, which is backdrop filter effect. So backdrop filter effect. So let's get, it should come before the footer, of course. So the section that is named backdrop. I always tell you, if you are confused how you made reference to yours, make sure you go back to the HTML structure. Now, initially, I told you we use background. I want us to use background image now. Using background image, we're going to use URL. I'm using this time around to make sure you learn how to make use of this background filter, backdrop filter effect. So we are loading image by adding double dots to go into the folder where the image is. So I want to select any of the images I've not used before now. Maybe, what's that image? Picnic wallpaper. Seems I've not used it before. Yeah, it's unused. So all the things we've added before now, like background size, background position, all those things, we also add them here. So background position should be cover, background size should be, background position should be center. Please, background size is cover, background position is center so that the image is centered. You now see the effect. Now, I need to give this a height, maybe a height of 50 VH, height of 50 VH. You now see how big it stretches. And let's give it a padding of about 1.5 rem. It's already took a width of 100%. I want this text to come to the center. Let's say display flex, align item center, justify content center. I'll be using this often and on so that You will understand the flow as it is. Align item center, justify content center. Seems something is wrong. Align items center, justify content. Something is wrong somewhere, but maybe I can't locate it now. Okay. Align item center, justify content center 2. All right, that is done. Now that having been done, we need to get the backdrop filter div. This very text inside it is inside a div. So we need to get it by saying dot backdrop dot backdrop filter, or you say dot backdrop div, which is the div inside it. It's only one div. So dot backdrop div. What I want to do with that backdrop div, I want to add a padding of 10 pixels all around, 10 pixels. Then give the text a color of white. Dearest friends, I also want you to know that when you have an image on your web page, you can add linear gradients or radial gradients on it. I'm going to give that to you as an assignment. Learn how to insert radial gradients and linear gradients. And you show me how you integrate, you did it. So learn how to do it on your own so that that image reduces its opacity, that it does not appear too much on becoming too much on the text, maybe for the text on top of the image. But with this backdrop filter effect, we can achieve similar effects. Just pay attention as we are doing this. Let's align the text to the center. Text align center. The next thing is to use the backdrop filter. Backdrop filter. And we make it blur. Apart from making it blur, we have other effects we can do using this backdrop filter. But I want you to notice this. Let's say 15 pixels, and you see how it appears. This very place where the image or where the text is becomes blurred. All right. I want to add a text shadow, box shadow to this. Kind of add a box shadow to this div. So box shadow, 2 pixels, 6 pixels, 12 pixels, and then let's use #000dd. Okay, that's looking good. Let's leave it like that. It appears like it is 3D, three-dimensional space on top of this background image. Okay. All right, guys. Sorry for the glitch. At least at this point, we've been able to cover literally the content I laid out before this class started. So we've been able to see how we can insert or embed images, set images as background, set video as background of the hero section, as well as insert images and making them to be responsive, dynamic on the web page. So at this point, I would want to open the floor for questions and answering. You could see the effect of adding this. When I click on this flexbox, it opens this page in a new tab. When I click on home, it opens this home in the same tab, but there is no content inside home for now. And when I click on this logo, the logo loads me into the same file, into the same page where I am. And if I click on grid, nothing is in it yet. So I click on basic structure. You could see this portfolio website we started building from the onset. All right, guys, I request you to open your mic now and ask questions if you are confused. If you feel there is area to be clarified, areas we need to talk about.
Well done, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Go on.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you again.
So I know you have been showing us how to use Flexbox, and that's the arrangement, the inline, and all those things. I wanted to know how does it differ from using grid? Because I know there's also grid. Like, what's the implication between that?
Okay.
And because in styling, like those that's like what I like to know.
That's a good question, Gabe. Thank you. I already said before, the clear difference between them, one is that Flexbox is a one directional layout in CSS, whereas grid is a two-dimensional CSS layout. For our class on Friday, we shall focus on grid. There is also video for this grid that is already on the YouTube. This very part where we are talking about today is also on the YouTube that one can also watch and get acquainted with it. So the main difference is that Flexbox is a one-dimensional, whereas grid is two-dimensional. And they have their ways of writing their codes. So it's not the way you write codes in Flex that you write on grid, while you make use of grid. All right. So that is to address it directly. Thank you guys for paying attention. Okay, there's someone who wrote something in the chat. Okay, are these wallpapers already saved on your device you're using? Yes, Gabe. They are saved. Hope you can hear me, Gabriel.
Yes, I can hear you. I asked that earlier, and I realized they are. Thank you.
All right. Finally, I would want us to do something so that we identify this code, this backdrop filter effect. I would want us to get, when we hover on code, when we hover on the tag that has the name code, let there be a background color on it. Code. Or rather, okay, let's give it a color and then another color when you hover on it. Code should have these features. Cursor should be pointer. Then font weight should be bold. And color should be red. Whereas background color should be white as FFF. Good. Now let's add padding to it of about 0.5 rem all around. Maybe 0.5 rem top and bottom, 1 rem left and right. Very good. Now let's add a border radius to it. Border radius of about 12 pixels. Make it 18. Let's see how 18 is. Very good. I want this capsule type of And you see when you hover on it, it has this cursor pointer. What else do we need to do there? Then when we hover on it, let it have a background color. So background color should change. So red. Whereas color itself should change to white. Notice the effect. When we hover on it, it becomes white text with red background. So there's try it and you see what you can achieve. All right, guys, thank you. Thank you. In absence of any other question, we draw the curtain at this point, and I encourage you, write to me when you are confused. Hit the comment section while watching the videos on the areas you need to be elaborated. You need more elaboration, as well as other things you don't understand that you want us to do or talk about. And finally, watch the videos that are posted on the YouTube page ahead of time. We already have a playlist for this tutorial, web development. So watch other tutorials there, not just the ones I send you the link. But for this tutorial, it will be recorded and the link will be sent in the live web development class section on the playlist. And then the video, the original video for this course is already there on the website in the main playlist for web development. Guys, thank you for paying attention and see you again on Friday. Same time, same station. Don't touch that dial. Do have a nice day.